What is up, and welcome to the Thinking Cap podcast. I'm Austin,
And I'm Romeo.
and I believe the direction of this podcast is just to get you thinking. Or we would like to think about certain topics and have had really good conversations about current events and just random things about the
Very,
world. And
very,
yeah,
very big brain conversations going on. Not
oh
really.
yeah, oh yeah.
But
I know it doesn't sound like it, but we do have deep conversations about.
yeah, in fact, I could even go back to some of the emails. So how do
Hmm.
we like how do we first become acquainted? I was on TikTok and I was thinking about uh fitness or whatever, or hiring a coach because I kept on spamming volume in the gym, got
Hmm.
tired, and just continued to eat like garbage. And I'm like, why isn't it working? It's like, you
Hmm.
know what? Maybe I should stop being cheap and hire
Hmm.
a professional to help me out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess we can spend our first episode diving into how we actually met each other and how we our journey together, if you will, to and then eventually doing this.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I was on TikTok and I was scrolling and um I came across a video of you because I'm already on gym TikTok and it was you when you were pretty much around my age and you were shredded and you looked like you wanted to die. And you
Mhm.
were like, I felt like fucking garbage at this point. It did not
Mhm.
feel good. And anyone that
Yeah.
says that they feel good, they're lying to you and they want your money. I'm like, man, I think I could
Mhm.
give this guy my money.
Yeah. No, but that's so true, especially and when we're talking about just being shredded and like super low levels of body fat, and I would even consider myself at that point super shredded or anything. I would probably guess I was at 11 to 13%, just because
No.
I do hold a lot of more fat in my legs, and secondly, is I think it's just a much more realistic like overestimation of my body fat percentage because we all think that we're leaner than we are, but we all have much more body fat to lose. But anyways,
Like,
like I think it's people kind of put that on a pedestal of like, oh, they look so shredded and lean, and I think a big giveaway for how people feel is just looking at their faces, and when you get to like that amount of like low levels of body fat burn, you can
it's
see my face is
specific.
like sunken in. I kind of look like a skeleton,
No,
and
it's
man, just looking at that feels
specifically the
yeah.
when you were doing this, you can't see it for the people listening, but when you were doing this,
Hmm.
it's like this man looks like he wants to die. And even rather recently, to give a little bit about myself, I go to a school that, for the time being, shall remain unnamed. However, if you're a friend of mine and you're
Hmm.
listening to this, you know which school, and they have their own their Corps of Cadets. If you're in the Corps of Cadets, calm down. I'm not going to talk about the secrets within the Corps of Cadets, so take a breather. But you're as a freshman cadet, you do a lot of running. You go to the school a week before for which is essentially military basic training. And I'm
Hmm.
not joking. I lost 10 pounds in the span of a freaking week. And I was literally too busy to be hungry. Like,
Hmm.
okay, I was too too busy to be hungry because it's like, well, if I could go get something to eat, or I no, I need to do homework right now, or I need to
Hmm.
check in with my cadet squad lead so I don't get yelled at. And Austin, I don't know if you remember, but like I sent an update video of me in what's called white shirt, and
Hmm.
I acted as if I was being held at gunpoint. It was like,
Wait,
yes.
what's white shirt?
White shirt is like White shirt is like the military dress uniform that they had. It's a very basic, uh, button-up shirt with, like, very long rather long pointed,
Hmm.
collars.
Hmm.
You know, you have your name tape, which had my last name on it and the training company, that I was in or whatnot, but that was, like, our official uniform, and we had, like, trousers, black
Hmm.
stripes. It was anyways. But the
Hmm.
point of me mentioning that is that when I had lost those 10 pounds in the span of a week, most of that was more than likely water. Wouldn't you say, Austin? It was more or less water.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So going from that, and yeah, of course, I had abs or whatever, whatnot. But again, I was literally too busy to be hungry.
Mhm,
And another thing with my school, it became clear that you had to buy the most expensive meal plan because it's not necessarily all you can eat. It's like a credit system, and you would always have to refill it. And I'm being cheap. I bought the cheapest one
mhm,
and ran out uh, over halfway through the semester and had to reload. But
mm.
yeah, nonetheless, the point in that fucking ramble is that it, it's not all what's cracked up to be. Like it does seem that if you are more consistent with it and you get to that point instead of rushing it, you actually get
Mhm.
to that point over a span of like months or years, it's more sustainable, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Just taking, yeah, the slow and steady route. And speaking of pictures, I I went back. I remember you posting it in our shared spreadsheet, and I just opened it back up.
Shared
You do
spreadsheet.
look like a different person in the last pictures.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
the the photos were not. Send me the link to that if you can. Well, no, I should have it. I have my own
yeah, yeah.
uh
It's still that same spreadsheet.
drive.
And I
Uh,
don't know if it's just the lighting, but there is that one picture where you're kind of angled towards the camera, and you look very dark. So I
I
don't know
was
if you've
gonna
been
make a
getting too
joke,
much
but
sun.
I'm not,
No, no.
I'm not gonna get you canceled.
I was hey, I was careful with my with my words there.
No, 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 no. You're good. You're good. Okay, where are you at on the spreadsheet? Which progress photos? But all in all, yeah, I'm starting to see on my For You page how people are talking about, and it's a lot of fitness coaches. They're talking about how everyone, a lot more people are using gear or performance enhancing drugs, PEDs, than you think. And I think more people are starting to fess up about, yeah, I'm not natural, which is great. But the downside
Mhm.
to that, have you seen the troll face meme montages? They're so cringe.
No,
You
I have
haven't?
not. Like the OG like troll face meme, but they're like rebranding it or
What
something.
they Oh my gosh, what they
Like,
do now, and I've been getting a lot of it because I'm on military TikTok and gym TikTok, and they're pretty cringe. What they'll do is like, let's say someone's getting ready to go and they pick up some dumbbells and they're like 45s and they're like, oh, okay, cool. He's about to, I don't know, do dumbbell bench presses. And he does lateral raises. And like, as soon as he goes in for the movement for the lateral raises, it
mm,
plays this Brazilian funk and has like a troll face in front of it. And I swear, no
what?
matter how much I hit, I'll send it to you later on, but no matter how much I freaking hit, not interested, I keep getting bombarded
Oh my god.
with, yeah, and it's so cringe because, like, you could tell it's a bunch of teenagers in the comments talking about I mean, it's good, don't get me
Mhm,
wrong, 45 pounds for lateral raises, that is very impressive, but
mhm.
it's the problem I have is that there's this attitude towards fitness now that, like, you're going to war, like, fitness is associated with your own masculinity, and
Mhm.
so, have you seen this? Like, or you get what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah, I haven't seen this specific montage, but I've seen and I think I've made a couple of, like, parody videos on this where, like, people act like going to the gym in, like especially in, like, a climate controlled gym, it's like it's just, like, another building, and they're acting like, "Oh, yeah, I'm, like, going to war, I'm, like"
Yeah, no, bro. I'm
what's the
like,
other
oh,
phrase that they
no,
use? "Yeah,
no.
I'm in the trenches, like, fighting demons," or whatever, I'm like, "Dude, you're,
Like,
like,
go to
19
therapy.
and" Yeah, yeah, exactly, I'm like, "You
Please,
need therapy."
please go to, please shut the
Go
hell up
talk to
and please
someone,
go to,
yeah.
yeah, please go talk to someone. You
Yeah,
know, BetterHelp.
yeah.
Like,
Sponsored by no, no, we're not sponsored.
well, no, we're not sponsored, not yet. Um, I have no problem saying I myself have been to therapy, and I asked my therapist one time, I'm like, "Yo, you've seen the ads for BetterHelp, right?" And he's like,
Mhm,
"Yeah, there is going to be." I was like, "I have a feeling there's gonna be a documentary about BetterHelp in the coming years." Um, and he was like, I asked him, I'm like, "So what's, like, the certification or, like, what's the deal with that?" And he's like, "I would not."
mhm. Oh, no.
We're definitely we're definitely not getting sponsored by them now.
Mhm,
They were like he was like, most of them are I shouldn't say most, but he was like a good chunk of them, just like statistically speaking, with how many licensed therapists there are,
mhm,
it's a really good chance that people who are using BetterHelp are like not therapists, like licensed in their state.
mhm. Gotcha.
Like they to be licensed, you have to have a master's degree and you have to do like clinical hours. Nonetheless,
Mhm.
um, but yeah, talk to someone if you need to talk to someone. Regardless,
Yeah,
get
yeah. The it will help, but yeah, I will say, like, my most successful clients are the ones who do the fitness coaching, and then alongside they're, like, going to therapy and doing mental stuff. Because I really believe that you won't reach your fitness goals unless you sort all the mental shit that you're going through out.
yeah, and not to mention just yapping is
Mhm.
pretty good. That's what we're doing here right now, and I
Yeah,
can feel the
exactly.
dopamine just lighting up my brain cells.
Mhm,
But circling back, if I could just circle back to the original point, it's like this whole attitude towards fitness. You know, you're in the trenches, you're working out, whatever, whatnot. I think it's a pipeline. It's like a pipeline into um, a bunch of like gym cell gym cell TikTok
mhm.
or whatever.
It's
Where
it's the gateway drug.
yeah, it's the gateway
Yeah.
drug or whatnot. Like we saw it, and speaking of gateways, there are like multiple gateways. Um, but that's kind of talking about the election of 2019. But
Oh,
it
jeez.
we'll get to, we can get to that in a second. But like, it's this gateway drug of like, okay, you go into the gym or whatever or whatnot. You don't know what you're doing, so you go on TikTok to see who or what to do or whatever or whatnot. Okay, you
Mhm,
find some good people, get some good advice, cool. And you know, you're being consistent, but you're being bombarded with so much information. All right, cool, whatever. But like the problem starts like the first red flag is that you get someone who's juiced out of their mind
mhm,
saying that you need to get into the gym so that you can get women's attention or forget if that be or whatever, you know, you're
mhm.
forgetting about her. And
Yeah.
then
Oh, jeez.
you start to equate your gains in the gym with potentially getting female validation.
Mhm.
Fair warning, you're not going if you
Yeah,
get to the point
yeah.
you look good, you're not going to get, a lot of female validation, it's gonna be other
Mhm.
guys
Yeah, exactly.
that may or
It's,
may not be.
yeah, it's like diminishing returns. It's like obviously working yourself and, like, I think the biggest thing that people miss out on, it's the thing that the gym helps. Obviously you do get more fit and athletic, but then at a certain point, or after a certain point, there's just no more returns of like building more muscle and getting even more lean. Like women only care about that so much, and but then I believe going to the gym and like gaining confidence and gaining discipline, which will carry out to other areas in your life, and maybe you improve other aspects of your life and personality as well, and that's what they're actually attracted to, not necessarily you having more muscle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and don't let this be discouraging, of course. I'd say the best advice I could give to, like, just don't overthink it. That's
Mhm.
that's been, like, the
Yeah.
general, life or whatever,
Mhm.
general, advice I've been having to tell myself all the time, as of recent, and it's helped out a lot. Stop
Mhm.
overthinking it, and, I think it was, like, Zach who said this, but he had a really good point. He treats the gym like a spa.
Mhm. But
Like,
who's
he
Zach?
just Shaq,
Oh,
Shaquille
Shaq.
O'Neal.
Oh, okay.
Hey, this is post-production Romeo speaking. It was actually Terry Crews that gave this bit of advice. Uh, yeah, so keep that in mind. Not Shaq. It was Terry Crews that said he treats the gym like a spa. Anyways, back to the show.
Oh, okay, got you.
Yeah, he's like, I treat, and it may not have been him or whatever, whatnot, but he's like, I treat the gym like it's a spa.
Mhm.
I'm picking a machine, fly, and just lift the weights. I pick them up, put them down, go to the next one, and make it challenging for myself. But yeah,
Mhm.
not that big a deal.
Yeah.
Should I give what were you gonna say?
Oh, no, no. That's good advice. Shaq has been honestly, a side note on Shaq.
Yeah,
Shaq, I feel
that's
like has been everywhere.
Yeah, no, that's why I was not expecting to get good advice from him or whatever, just
Yeah,
randomly. It would
yeah.
not.
I
It
think
may not have even.
I see all these memes where like Shaq is just randomly sponsoring this product that he isn't
Yeah,
sponsoring. Yeah.
exactly. I think it was even I forgot what service it was, but they actually it was some random service I was looking at for like we were just looking for widgets prior
Mhm.
to this, trying to figure out how we're going to record this using Discord. But it was some arbitrary service like the website we were looking at, and at the bottom it was like sponsored by Shaquille O'Neal or whatever or whatever. It's like what the hell? But should I give like a hard pivot into our next topic? Even though I think you're kind of pressed for time, actually.
I mean, we can just go into our hot topic.
Okay. So, America is, we're in the midst of an election season where every 4 years we get into another abusive relationship. We get
That's a
into,
good way to put it. Yeah.
yeah, like we get into another, who are we going to pick? Who will run this country? And it has been quite an interesting 4 years.
Mhm.
We had Joe Biden, who is on his way out, um, physically.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
perhaps
Yes.
perhaps even mentally, allegedly. We
Hmm.
don't we don't
Yeah.
we don't know. And now a lot has happened. Let's start with the attempted assassination attempt on
Hmm.
Trump's life. So, Austin, where were
Yeah.
you at when that happened? How
Oh
did you
man,
react?
where was I? Thinking back, I think it was a Friday night, and
Yeah,
I
it
was
was
on my
Friday
way to
afternoon.
yeah Friday afternoon in the evening. I think like 4 or 5 p.m. And then I was actually on my way to go meet up with some friends, and then all of a sudden I get a text in the group chat. They're like, "Oh my god, did you like check the news right now?" I'm like, "What's going on?" And I pull it up. I'm like, "Dude, what? I got shot at?"
Just with me, I had a more potent reaction. I was more excited. I was driving. I wasn't looking at my phone while driving, of course.
Mhm.
I looked at my phone when my vehicle came to a complete and legal stop.
Yeah,
And
on the
so
record.
when I
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, on the record. So, State Patrol or whoever, yeah. And, don't text and drive because I never would. Would you do that, Austin?
No, of course
No,
not. Why
absolutely
would
not.
I? Yeah, no.
And a friend of mine notified me after I came to my complete legal stop that he was like, "Yo, you saw that they tried to shoot Trump, right, with the eye emojis?" I'm like, What? What?"
Oh,
I was yelling at the top of my lungs on Snapchat. I was messaging my
yeah.
friends in different group chats. I'm like, okay, I'm like, attention, attention, this is not a drill. Donald Trump
Yeah.
has been shot. And and my friends responded, they're like, "Bro, you're acting like we're on his security detail.
Yeah.
we, we know as much as you do." But
Mm,
the reason why I got so like excited was because I was thinking back on January 6th when they stormed the Capitol, and I actually took a field trip in high school to the Capitol building, and I was in the Senate building. So
mhm,
the photos of January 6th, they kind of hit different for me because I've actually been there where they were at.
mhm,
And this made me think, I'm like, okay, if they reacted to him losing the election this way, how are some of his like
mhm.
diehard supporters going to react if he was successfully killed? But we'll say thankfully he was not killed because I first off we don't want to wish death upon anyone.
Yeah.
Um, but I wouldn't have liked to seen the outcome of the reaction of him being assassinated. But the whole thing was pretty. I'm not gonna lie, it just seemed my first initial thoughts were that it was staged. Like at the first 10 seconds, like my first initial
Mhm.
reactions was that it was staged because I saw the photo of him like putting his hand up. I
Yeah.
was like, oh man, yeah, this is clearly staged.
It felt so staged because yeah, first when they released the footage, I was like, "Dude, the dude fired, like, 6 rounds or something." and then they all missed, and then I think one of them just like barely grazed his ear, and then yeah, and he like took a minute to drop down, and then as he was coming up, I'm like, especially after getting shot at, like you're probably in a bit of shock, and
Right.
the first thing on his mind to do was like put his fist up and be like, yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
I'm not gonna I don't support him, but I'm not
Mhm.
gonna lie, that photo of him was a pretty good photo.
Yeah, yeah,
And I was like
yeah,
it was at that moment, I was like, "He just won the election."
yeah. I'm like
Um,
that's really good marketing.
he
Like,
you know, he just he just won the election, and I was, driving to visit a friend. I was like, "Man, I'm going to the ABC store, we're drinking tonight."
yeah.
And, um, but no, it after more time passed, it was real. It was a real attempt on his life.
Mhm,
Um, and I was thinking to myself, there's definitely a lot more that we don't know.
mhm,
Um, it was very suspicious, but
mhm.
I'm just ready for this election to be over
Yeah.
already.
I mean, it's pretty crazy that in 2024 that this still almost happened.
We have lived
Yeah.
through unprecedented times, especially within the last like 6 years. We had a global pandemic. We had the election of Trump.
Yeah.
We had an assassination attempt. It's
Mhm.
and not too recently, a couple days ago, the stock market like ate,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
recovered.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Oh,
I
speaking of,
think,
this is what I wanted to kind of jive on. So,
yeah,
based on a bunch of recent events and everything that I feel like is going on in the world, I just and also when you were talking about like being present and all that, this is something that I've been just trying to work on and not think too much about the future. And it seems like the world is just we're headed towards another World War III. Like I can feel like
it
it's gonna come within the
definitely.
next 10 years or so.
Um, man, I don't know if I want. I'll say this because yeah, we again when I was in ROTC, it was literally more or less a year ago. We had a guest speaker come in who, again, this is a general who is active duty, and he visited us. And of course, someone asked the question, "Are we going to war anytime soon?"
Man.
And he basically said that they are preparing for global conflict by 2027 because
Mhm,
that's the same year that China said that they would be ready, or at their most ready to quote unquote reclaim Taiwan, to invade Taiwan.
gotcha.
Um, but recently, some articles came out of them saying that they're suggesting they may be getting cold feet or
Mhm,
saying that you're not going to trick us into invading Taiwan.
mhm,
But I don't. It knowing we're not in the know. We're frenemies with China,
mhm,
and but the general feeling, like you said, with everyone is that yeah, we're heading into another global conflict, especially with the
mhm,
conflict going on in Israel between Palestine and how that is starting to, as of recent, branch out into a much more broader conflict with the recent strikes that Israel has not only carried out in the Gaza Strip, but in Iran assassinating, killing negotiators. You guys can't see it right now because you're listening to the podcast, but I took my glasses off and
mhm.
put above my head like I'm an old man. Um, but it definitely does have that feeling that we're getting ready to prepare to go into another conflict. Again, I'm on military TikTok, so of course I'm
Yeah.
going to uh, get information about the conflicts in Ukraine and updates or whatnot.
Mhm,
I think I even texted you when one of the Prigozhin, one of the generals, he was a head of the PMC, private military group for Russia. He like
mm.
invaded Russia. I was like, Austin, do you? I'm like, do you know what's going on right now? And you sent me the meme. It was like, we don't go to sleep. We monitor. The boys are monitoring the situation in Ukraine or whatever, whatnot.
Mhm.
But it's a lot going on. Um, Before I continue to ramble on even more about potential world wars, I definitely have to read up some more on
Mhm.
what's been going on and what the experts' thoughts are. But
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, China. I don't know much about Chinese politics, but I've heard from some people that they're like the what's it called? The tension between, like, the state and the people just aren't, like, that good. So, like, if they want to invade, they should do it soon. Otherwise, there's gonna be, like, a fallout or something within the next few years. I don't
mm,
know how true that is.
I will say that when the Chinese government decided to stop the lockdowns in China,
Mhm.
um, it wasn't because they were like, we think we should stop it now. It was because there were mass protests
Mhm.
across all of China or whatnot. Something that hadn't been seen since like Tiananmen Square, like whole cities going out to protest. And
Mhm.
to their credit, and I'd say their survival of their government, they
Mhm.
listened to the people and finally ended the lockdowns over there.
Mhm.
Um, Talking with because I studied abroad in Korea, and I got to chat with a lot of different people from all over the world, and I talked
Mhm.
to people who lived in mainland China that were vacationing. And the key difference in attitudes towards governments is that they are willing to sacrifice more of their personal privacy
Yeah.
for security.
Mhm.
You know, the facial recognition, right? You know,
Mhm.
social credit score that
Yeah.
have been made into memes. It exists, um, but it seems that it isn't that big of a concern, so to speak, because safety is the main priority. I
Mhm.
remember the saying was like, well, if you're a criminal, then yeah, I see why you have a problem with it. But if you're not
Yeah.
a criminal, why would you have a problem with it? And that
Mhm.
kind of speaks volumes to just like different perspectives
Mhm.
and different identities. Because like as Americans, we don't trust the government.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we don't trust our government at all to what's in our best interest. And I kind of had this epiphany when I was talking with the friends I made over in Korea.
Mhm.
Uh, Talking about politics, like how we do casually in the US, is not the same over there because, frankly, they don't need to worry about politics, so to speak.
Mhm.
Not to suggest that they don't know what's going on. They definitely know the problems that face their respective countries. It's just
Mhm.
that they don't need to pay attention because some local official is trying to pass a crazy ordinance. Whereas with us, we can't
Mhm.
really escape politics because of just how crazy things have been.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like I've
Makes
been
a lot of
yapping for
sense.
quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll wrap it up soon because I gotta go. But last point, I think I've been talking to a friend. She actually keeps up with, like, South Korean news and politics. She's a Isn't there, like, someone corrupt in power or something?
Yoon Suk Yeol is the current president. One thing, one thing that I have come to learn for when it comes to Korean politics is that there are no shortage. There's no shortage of like corruptions and
Mhm.
scandals, and whatnot. Um, I'm pretty sure because I was a visitor over there, I was a foreigner over there. It
Mhm.
seemed like things were kept on the low. But nah, you can go to different websites that publish South Korean news in English, and
Mhm.
really for the most part, it seems like there's just possible like corruption allegations, but
Mhm.
nothing is nearly as crazy as the U.S., where we have our elected officials um, interrogating the CEO of TikTok, and
Yeah.
basically trying to ask him like, "Hey, are you are you a
Yeah.
part of the CCP or five different ways
Mhm.
over?"
Yeah.
Marjorie
And
Taylor Greene,
it's not like things aren't corrupted here. It's
yeah,
just, yeah. We all know what happens, but then there's nothing we can do about it.
it just seems that it's things are. more sane. Things are not as nearly as crazy over there with their politics compared to us, where our politics is theatrics.
Mhm,
There's always something new that's going on, and it's quite exhausting.
mhm.
All in all, ugh. Well, anything else you want to hit on?
No, I think that's a that's a good topic to end on.
I think it's a good topic to end on as well. Um, Hopefully, if you guys are listening to this, hopefully we didn't bore you. I know that both of us we can be rather monotone. I think when I'm editing this, I'll add some like background music to keep our listeners up so they don't fall asleep.
Mhm. No, I mean, I think it's just we're talking about depressing topics, but
Yeah,
we can definitely talk about more, like, upbeat and passionate topics in the future episodes.
right. I myself, I just got done taking a almost 4 hour final exam. So that's why if I sound monotone other than usual, I'm tired. But,
Yeah.
but all in all, um, these are good things to talk about. Thank you for listening, and we hope to see you again sometime soon. Bye.
Yeah. See you.